How we doing? How we doing? Welcome in. It's A to Z Sports Prime Time here on a Tuesday night. I am your host, Sam Phelan, not Buck Rising, Sam Phelan. And before you guys ask, I'm going to remind everybody that I'm with you here on Tuesday nights throughout the NFL season in 2024 to recap some Titans stuff. Today is October 15th, and your Tennessee Titans are 1-4. A pitiful 1-4 that, has now drastically shifted sort of the topics that we're going to be talking about for the next 12 weeks or so until we get to the end of this season. Because what we saw against the Colts, I will go ahead and say right now, I think was the most damning thing we have seen about this Titans team, about this Titans coaching staff, and about the Titans quarterback all year. There's been some ugly games. There have been some ugly moments. I already see people like Roll Tide Roll saying, should we put in Rudolph? I'm going to get to it because I think we have some interesting stuff to talk about regarding Will Levis, regarding where the Titans go from here, regarding where the fan base goes from here, and honestly, where I feel like the Titans coaching staff is regarding Will Levis based on the press conference that we had with Brian Callahan on Monday afternoon. I was part of a session that we grilled Brian Callahan pretty hard about what Will Levis is going to do, why they're using Will Levis the way they're using him, why we haven't seen improvement, what the heck is up with the offensive game plan. Calvin Ridley's complaining about the offensive game plan and not getting targets because it's conservative as heck. And I wasn't fully satisfied with the answers. So we've got a lot of good stuff to talk about. Appreciate you guys joining in. We are on time today. We're got a lot of traction. Notice you guys like 7 o'clock, a little bit better than 6 o'clock. Noted. But let's go ahead and get into officially. So welcome into A to Z Sports Primetime here on Tuesday, October 15th. Not in the Zen Sports Studio tonight, and I'm not Buck Rising, but I am Sam Phelan with you on Tuesday nights from now through the end of the 2024 NFL season. And as always, presented to you by Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer. Two Rivers Ford and Mount Juliet are online at tworiversford.com for more information. Zen Sports, that's your place to bet. You can back the Titans against the Buffalo Bills or fade the Titans against the Buffalo Bills with the way they've been looking recently. Use the promo code ATOZTN in the Zen Sports app. And if you're in need of a new workout program, TrueMath Fitness is the place for you to go. No workout is ever recycled or repeated. Unlike the Titans playbook, nothing's ever recycled or repeated. Go to TrueMathFitness.com for more information. I mentioned the Titans playbook right there, and I think that was a takeaway for a lot of people. There was a lot of negative takeaways from that Titans game against the Indianapolis Colts, but perhaps nothing more frustrating and mind-boggling than Brian Callahan's offensive game plan. Because Calvin Ridley complains after the game, says he feels like he needs to get more targets early in the game, was very explicit about saying it. And honestly, I had no problem with what he said. I was able to sit there and say, you know what? Calvin Ridley is dead on. I sat next to Buck Rising in the Titans press box for that game, and at random times would look up the first drive of the game, even right off the bat in the first quarter. 3rd and 4 for the Titans. 3rd and 4. And we look up, it was a 3rd and 9. You drew an offsides penalty. So, yeah, let's set 3rd and 9. You've got Ridley, Hopkins, your 3rd and long pass catchers are out there and going for it. You get an offsides call on the Colts, make it a down and distance that's easier for you. 3rd and 4. And Buck and I look at each other and we see DeAndre Hopkins and Calvin Ridley running off the field. We see your wide receivers with 5 wide is Chigakonkwo, Tajay Spears, Treylon Burks, Nick Westbrook-Akine, Tyler Boyd. You're 5 wide. You're an empty. And you don't have your 2 best wide receivers, your 2 highest paid offensive weapons out on the field. Mind-boggling stuff. And we've talked now ad nauseum about Will Levis. And really what hasn't been there for Will Levis. There was a lot of talk early on about the turnovers and what he has done, the mistakes that he has made. But I think what's starting to rise to the forefront of everybody's mind is what he's not doing, which is making the exceptional throw and creating the big plays with his arm like he did as a rookie. And naturally, right, there is blame on Will Levis, but you also have to naturally blame the coaching staff, or at least ask the question, why under Mike Vrabel and Tim Kelly did Will Levis throw for 3 long touchdowns? Why did they air the ball out and find so much success in the passing game with, by the way, worse weapons with DeAndre Hopkins, Treylon Burks, and Chris Moore? Will Levis was creating explosive passing plays. You got him Calvin Ridley and Tyler Boyd. You improved the run game, or at least got a more dynamic pass catcher in Tony Pollard in the backfield. You allegedly improved your pass protection, and Will Levis isn't able to air it out and create explosive pass plays the same way. One of the reasons why is because the Titans aren't asking him to do it. Here's his passing chart from that loss to the Colts. Folks, this is pathetic. 16 for 27 for Levis. 27 pass attempts, 95 yards. Look at all those passes completed. He's 9 for 9 on balls behind the line of scrimmage and balls that are thrown within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage. 9 for 9 on those passes. Brian Callahan, who has come in and put such an emphasis on Will Levis being efficient as a passer, Will Levis having a high completion percentage, is really something that Brian Callahan wanted to emphasize. And here we are. We have a completion percentage, all right. We're just not getting anything down the field that's actually productive. So I think you have to look in the mirror, organization, top down, and figure out exactly what's going on. Because to be honest, Brian Callahan was honest with Titans media and said, yeah, it was a conservative game plan. Straight up admitted, conservative game plan against the Colts. Here's what the Titans head coach had to say.
How similar or different do you feel your play calling has been from what you envisioned initially at this point, as far as like more conservative, less conservative?
Yeah, I mean that was obviously a conservative game plan style. I knew we were going to be able to run the ball well. I thought we did for the most part. Through 3 quarters, that game was about what I thought it would look like, and it was our defense was playing well. We were running the ball. We had 2 different 17-play drives. We scored off a turnover. We were playing the game in a way that I thought was good enough to win through that point, and then obviously didn't get it done. We got to find a way to finish in the fourth quarter. That's sort of been our issue over the course of the season so far in these tight games, is we haven't done enough on offense to go win a game, and you got to score more than 17 points. Your goal is probably always to try to get to at least 24. It's going to put you in pretty good position to win, and we haven't gotten that. So I don't know that I think every game is different. Every week is different. I would certainly like to be a lot better in the passing game than we've been, though. That's for certain.
Will said that in the.
So there it is. He admits, hey, that was a conservative call by him. And one of the reasons why this is frustrating is he lays it out and says, 17 plays. We had a couple of 17-play drives. We ran the ball well. And I will give Brian Callahan credit in the sense that the Titans need to be a run-first offense. They've been at their best when they've been a run-first offense. Making things simpler for Levis has allowed them to get into rhythm, milk some clock. Tony Pollard was fantastic in that game against the Colts. But when you rely on these 17-play drives, like he just said, what is the issue with that? Eventually, you're going to stall out. Why is it that the Titans can't get anything going in the fourth quarter? Because you are banking on this idea that we're going to get 4 yards, 5 yards, 4 yards, 5 yards with Tony Pollard, because we're checking down completing all of these passes underneath. But what is that getting you? It's not creating any explosives. I think they really need to look in the mirror and figure out why their game plan, quote unquote, is going to plan. Just as he said, I think we ran the ball well. I think we put ourselves in a position to win. That's what we need to do, win the game. And yet you're not winning games and you're stuck at 17 points. So here's our first question that I got for all of you. And I want you guys to fill in the blank. Fill in this blank. The Titans' conservative game plan shows blank. Put it in the chat for you there so you can read it. Titans' conservative game plan shows blank. While you guys are telling me your answers, I'm going to tell you guys about Two Rivers Ford. My friends over at Two Rivers Ford is your Ford Bronco home. Everywhere I go, I see Ford Broncos all over the road. They're all different. Soft tops, hard tops, Big Bend, heritage style with white tops, Black Diamonds, Raptor, Bronco Sports, so many options, color combinations, different packages, and trim levels. And so the Two Rivers Ford team is inviting you to get to know the Ford Bronco. It's an open invite. You don't even need to be in the market for a vehicle. They've got a team of Bronco experts on hand to just introduce you to the car and answer your questions. It's a sales team that doesn't work on commission, so they're really there to educate you and answer your questions. Go get to know the Bronco and find out why Two Rivers Ford is one of the South's most trusted Ford dealers. Go see my friends at Two Rivers Ford in Mount Juliet, just 7 miles east of the airport, and get to know the Bronco, your Ford Bronco headquarters at Two Rivers Ford. All right, I asked you guys, fill in the blank. Titans' conservative game plan shows what? Adrian, a lack of confidence in Will Levis. Jack, fear. Curtis, who Levis really is, the trust in Levis. Ineptitude, no trust in Levis playing the QB position and operating the offense. No trust in Levis, lack of confidence. They don't believe in Levis, no trust. Inexperience from Josh is an interesting spin. Titans in Truth says it shows Levis is not the guy. It shows lack of experience again. It shows creativity. I would disagree. I mean, maybe it shows creativity that's dumb, in my opinion, Enrique. The green side of the play caller. I think these are the two things that we're really honing in on here. No faith, no confidence, and the idea that a play caller is maybe not over his head, as Alex says, but certainly inexperienced than a rookie. My answer, it shows how the coaching staff truly feels about Will Levis. It is deafening watching how little they trust him to do. And I have been pro Will Levis. I have been holding out hope that he was going to improve. And I still have a sliver of hope in me that the ability is there. But what has turned me, what has flipped me, is seeing very clearly that at this stage in the season, the Titans coaching staff is already giving you their answer. They have their answer on Will Levis. Brian Callahan said as much without saying it in his press conference. Let's break down something more that he had to say. This was a great question by Nick Suss about what's more important to the Titans right now, winning a football game or the development of their young quarterback.
What it takes to win week to week against the development, figuring out who players are. Where do the priorities stack right now?
Well, the priority is always to try to find a way to win. And I've always been, it's sort of whatever it takes, whatever style you have to play, however the game plan has to play out. It's whatever it takes to give us a chance to win the game. And I think, again, outside of the Green Bay game, we've been in those spots. You know, we've been in position to win a game, and we haven't found a way to do that yet. And I think that's the biggest issue right now, is just finding that way to make the play, make the throw, make the tackle, make the interception, return a punt, something that gives us a chance to make a play to win the game. And it's not solely, it's not just one phase, it's all three phases. But yeah, our focus is always going to be, how do we best put ourselves in position to win the game?
Anything going on with Snead late from a health standpoint?
So Brian Callahan there says the priority is to win. That is objective one, as it should be. Right? I can get on board with that. I've got no problem with that. But Brian Callahan says, so developing Levis, which in theory would be letting Levis loose, letting him play. That's not the priority. The priority is how to win a football game. How does he feel the Titans are best equipped to win a football game? This nonsense. Running the ball, taking checkdowns. It doesn't take a huge leap to say that if you believe putting bubble wrap on your quarterback, not letting your quarterback play free, play loose, not asking your quarterback to do anything, if the head coach believes that is the thing that equips you to win a game, well, now you're telling me how you feel about your quarterback. You're telling me, right, like name one team in the league, and spoiler alert, you can't, that has faith in their quarterback and also believes what's best for their team is if their quarterback doesn't do anything. There is a lack of trust from this coaching staff to Levis. And by the way, you could make the argument, if you were really like looking for a reason to defend Levis here, you could make the argument, well, they didn't trust him because he wasn't healthy, because of the shoulder. But Brian Callahan said in that same press conference, oh, that interception that Levis threw where he said if he was healthy, he could have made a better throw. Yeah, no, I don't think his shoulder had any ill effect on him. I don't think it was a factor. So this was not a health thing. This was the Titans believing Will Levis was good to go. And the game plan that they felt gave them the best chance to win is just something that puts your quarterback in a box, really limits his ability to make a play. But that is also contradictory to what Callahan, Rand Carthon, and the entire Titans organization said to myself, every other member of the Titans media in our press conferences and, Q&As throughout the offseason. They sign L'Jarius Sneed. They go get Calvin Ridley. They add Lloyd Cushenberry. They draft J.C. Latham. All these different pieces on defense. They signed Tony Pollard and Tyler Boyd. They wanted to make life as comfortable for Will Levis as possible because it was very clear that the Titans' objective for 2024 was to get an answer on their quarterback, to find out what you have in number 8. I thought it was a great strategy. Even with the way that a Ridley or a Sneed maybe hasn't worked out so far, I think the philosophy of build a good team around a young QB to give him a shot to prove himself, I think is an okay thought process. I think it's pretty sound decision-making. But if your goal of the season was to find out what Will is, and you're not letting Will take chances, what then? Paul Kaharski asked that question to Brian Callahan, and then I got in there for a little bit as well as we kind of put Callahan's feet to the fire as we tried to figure out exactly what the heck this quarterback thought, or this coach, how he feels about his quarterback.
The amount of short throws from Will, with the amount of checkdowns, with the amount of hot, doesn't suggest that you've already got your verdict on Will and what you can do with him?
No, I don't think that's the case. No. I think there's a lot of things that he can do better, and there's things that I can do to help him better. And then there's around him can play better too. I think that we're really close. There's a lot of things that we do well, and there's a lot of things that we just haven't quite gotten over the hump on when it comes to, losing one-score games. Lost 3 of them now, where we're in position to have a chance to win, and we haven't done it. And I don't know that that's necessarily it's not all a Will thing either. There's things that I can do better to help him, and just haven't been there yet. And again, we're tight, we're close, and we got to play better. There's no doubt, and he's got to play better. But there's things that I think are encouraging and positive about it as well.
If the theme of the season, though, is to see Will do everything Will can do and get an ultimate verdict on Will, wouldn't that idea fall in line with letting him cut it loose more rather than playing it safe?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely calls that go down the field that don't get thrown down the field. So yeah, I don't. It was conservative nature in some of the runs because we were running the ball well. But yeah, I mean, we can just drop back and throw it down the field more. Sure. I don't know. I don't know how to answer that.
Is the conservative game plan that you kind of mentioned, is that kind of a vision that you had for this team when you first kind of saw this offense coming together? And if not, what has changed over 5 games now that has led you to a more conservative style of game plan?
Quite a few things, but at the end of the day, we've played a brand of football that complements our defense that's played really well. We put ourselves in position to win. We've had leads at halftime. We've had leads going into the fourth quarter, and we haven't finished a game. So, I don't. There's a way that we've had to play right now. We've made a lot of mistakes early. We're making less of them, which is encouraging. And it's ultimately for us right now coming down to making the plays at the end of the game to go win it, and we haven't done that yet.
With those turnovers, a lot of them are.
There you go. I mean, really, I think a cool, interesting series of events there. Interesting answers, telling answers. I'll point out a couple of them here in a moment, but I want to tell you guys all about Gary Ashton, the official realtor of the Nashville Predators. Don't sell without the intel. Get your dream address without the stress, and get the intel that you need to succeed with the official realtor of the Nashville Predators. It's GaryAshton.com. GaryAshton.com. You see it down there on your screen. Let's get into some of these answers from Brian Callahan. I think this was an interesting one. Curtis points it out. You heard him say he makes the calls, but Levis doesn't throw it. There was a brief moment that he was like, yeah, I think we have some calls that go down the field. What else is interesting there? Maybe the fact that he didn't know how to answer Paul Kaharski's second question, which is a very logic-based question. If your logic and if your goal of the season is to find out what Will is, logically, you would let Will do more to find out how he responds to certain opportunities. Logically. He points that out to Brian Callahan, who kind of goes, I don't know. I don't know how to answer that. So maybe a moment of him realizing, yeah, we probably should let him drop back and throw it down the field more. Maybe he is just trying not to say why, which is then why I follow up with, hey, you just admitted it's a conservative game plan. You seemed to have a very clear vision of what your offensive identity was going to be coming in, taking this job. You're an offensive guy. You've had success with offenses in the past. You're a quarterback guy through and through. So did you see this Titans team and know we were going to play it a little bit conservative? And if not, you're clearly there now, right? Did you believe coming in that playing it conservative gave you the best chance to win? And if not, something has changed along the way. He says, well, a number of things have changed. Wouldn't say what those things are, but I think we can infer. I think this is the loud silence that I'm talking about here. This idea that it's probably the quarterback to some extent. It's probably your offensive line to some extent. I don't think it's your receivers and your playmakers. Part of the reason I take Calvin Ridley's side on the whole, targets thing is because we've seen Calvin Ridley succeed everywhere else that he's been. He was a stud in Atlanta. He was good for the most part in Jacksonville. He at least got open in Jacksonville. So it has to be, and like Callahan said, they've run the ball well. So if you run the ball well in a game, you've got good weapons, and yet you feel this need to go to this real conservative game plan, it's because you have a lack of faith in your quarterback and a lack of faith in your offensive line. Which, right, maybe that's a good thing, right? Maybe it's a good thing that they don't want to put Will Levis in a drop back passing game when they don't feel like they can pass protect. Sure. But the Titans couldn't pass protect in 2023. The offensive line was probably worse. And they still found a way to create explosive plays. There's no reason Brian Callahan shouldn't be able to figure that out. So I don't I'm not out on Brian Callahan by any means, but I do believe Brian Callahan is out on Will Levis. With this being a day 2 quarterback, second round pick that he did not draft, that he is already 5 games into his tenure as head coach, putting a leash on, that's not a good sign for where this thing is going to go. So what then? Right? That's what that brings us to. What now? If Will Levis stinks, if the Titans are bad, if we don't have much faith in the coach, why watch? That's our second question, because I don't think there's no reason to watch. I think we do have reason to watch. We have reason to care. Maybe it is just your loyalty to the team because you're a Titans fan and you bleed two-tone blue, damn it, and you're going to watch no matter what. Second question today. What is the main reason you are still watching the 2024 Titans? What is the main reason you are still watching the 2024 Titans? And I want to ask this question, 1, out of curiosity, and 2, I think I want to spread a little bit more positivity. Not because the Titans are deserving of positivity, but because football at the end of the day is still something that we all love. It's something we look forward to every year. And we do have to be critical of this team and this coaching staff and these players and this front office and this ownership. We have to criticize them when things are bad. And right now, things are very bad. But when we're just critical all the time, that's no fun, right? Do we have fun sitting watching this Titans team and then moping about how bad they play? I don't. So what is the fun? What keeps us coming back? Let's get some reminders of that, because you might need them throughout this season. They're 1-4. They're going to play the Buffalo Bills, a very, very good football team, the Buffalo Bills. They play the Detroit Lions the week after. Nobody's coming to save them, and the schedule's not getting easier. You're staring down the barrel of 1-6. I want to know why you're still watching and remind yourself of that as things get a little bit dark here in 2024. While you guys fire off your answers, I'm going to fire off some love to TrueMav Fitness. TrueMav Fitness in the Gulch. Go to truemavfitness.com for your first workout free as a Middle Tennessee resident. No workout is ever recycled or repeated at TrueMav. They've got personal training. They've got group fitness classes and memberships that also offer an open gym. So everything you need, all bundled in one. TrueMav Fitness in the Gulch. truemavfitness.com. Let me go to the chat here. What is the main reason you're still watching the 2024 Titans? Supreme Nick says, we're survivors. Hey, we're all survivors here. Curiosity to see how the mold of the team grows. Hope from Adrian with a tear. You should have a tear if you're watching for hope. There's not a ton of hope right now, but you always have to find your glimmer of hope. To see the modern offense we were promised. Well, we're not seeing it right now. Maybe later on in the season. Maybe you keep watching, waiting to see it. Curtis says it's church or football. He chooses football. Hey, brother, you can get NFL Sunday ticket and watch any game you want. Why the Titans, though? I'm not asking why you're watching football. Why this team? Is it because you don't want to pay for Sunday ticket? You can get a streaming service. Because of Cam Ward potentially looking for draft picks. Because you're programmed to watch. It's just what you do. Alex says because he's loved this team since he was a kid. Bork says he lives out of the Nashville TV market, so he watches because he never gets to. Watching Rand's draft picks at this point. Tony says he's watching Vandy. And that, I will say, is a saving grace right now for the people of Nashville. Vanderbilt, about to get in the top 25. After they hopefully, knock on wood here, beat Ball State this weekend, they'll slide into that top 25. That's a legitimate team with Diego Pavia. The Vols are looking rough, but survive in advance. They've given you another reason to watch for another week. They're keeping you in that college football playoff hunt. So there's some hope in the college sector that I think will keep people into football. Chaz says Ryan Stonehouse. Rhino says the rookies are fun to watch. And yeah, a couple of you guys hit on it, but that's my answer here. I'm watching for the Titans rookies, the draft class. That is what I think for me is the most intriguing part of the year. Maybe a part B answer would be the locker room and how people respond to Brian Callahan and how Brian Callahan adapts. So you can potentially get an answer on your head coach. But I think the most intriguing part of this team, the biggest reason to watch when you wake up on a Sunday, is because J.C. Latham is a dog. Tavondre Sweat looks like a legitimate player. Jarvis Brownlee is a big surprise. And when you've got a rookie class that looks promising, that's showing out a little bit, that's enough juice. That's enough hope. That can get anybody fired up. Maybe you are losing games. Maybe we are sitting here with a draft board and we're looking at, which quarterback they're going to take at the top of the first round. That is a very, very real possibility. But I'll be even more excited about a Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders or whoever it ends up being for the Titans. If they do draft a quarterback, be even more excited for that guy if I know they've got a left tackle that can protect for him. That's for sure. If I know they've got some defensive players that are studs and who are under contract control, that's for sure. So when you wake up, if this season keeps going the way we all think it's going to go, the way it's starting to trend, if they're 1-6 2 weeks from today when I'm talking to you, don't wake up and live and die with the Titans wins. Root for them to win, absolutely, but you got to find players and reasons to get yourself excited. Got to find, and that's what I'm going to do too. That's what I'm going to do hosting the show on Tuesday nights, is I'm going to find reasons to get excited and things for us all to talk about and debate together. Things for us to be pumped about with a 1-6 Titans team. It's part of being a sports fan, and it's part of being a loyal sports fan. Great answers from all of you. Let's go ahead. Let's get to Gone Viral. I've got one that I'm very, very fired up about here. Bert, are you with me here?
What's going on, Sam?
All right. Now, you are familiar with what I'm about to play. The chat is, I would imagine, somewhat familiar, but I would be shocked if anybody in the chat is actually a loyal viewer of American Sports Story. That is the FX television show covering the life of Aaron Hernandez. Now, in theory, sounds like an excellent idea. It sounds just like that Netflix Mind of a Murderer or whatever, like A Killer Inside, Aaron Hernandez. Like, that thing was phenomenal. But no, it's not so good. So I think I'm going to play some of these clips from the show, and they're going to get progressively more embarrassing, I think, for the show. So let's start with this one, which is not all that bad because I think they're going for a comedic thing, but this is the show's depiction of Rob Gronkowski in FX's American Sports Story?
Something like that.
Dumb name for a show, by the way. It tells me absolutely nothing of what it's about. Aaron Hernandez meets Gronk.
Aaron. What's up, bro? Hey. I'm Rob. They call me Gronk.
They call me Aaron.
Nice. Hey, you meet Coach yet?
Nah, not yet.
That dude is fucking scary, bro. Come on, guys. Let's go.
Holy shit, that's Tom Brady.
Bro, no shit. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Get high, baby. Cool. Because your shit is really...
Now, all right. A lot here. This is, mind you, this is the least embarrassing one of all of them. Credit to this actor that's playing Rob Gronkowski, because I will say he gets the voice down, I think, exceptionally well. His whole, they call me Rob, and then his laugh. That is solid. That's actually very good. Listen to his, like, they call me Rob at the beginning.
Aaron. What's up, bro? I'm Rob.
I'm Rob.
I'm Rob.
It actually sounds just like Gronk, so I will give him that credit. But the interaction itself is the worst interaction I've ever seen. The fact that, by the way, let's just this is a practice day in the NFL, and one player is asking another player, "Did you meet coach yet?" Hey man, did you meet Bill?
It's like they did such a good job on the eclectic characters that we all know, like Rob, Bill, like all of the big personalities for the Patriots are great. And then it's like, oh, no one ever saw Aaron talk like a regular person before. No one ever saw Aaron. So the guy that plays Aaron sucks. He's terrible. He's got no personality whatsoever. But
He's
maybe
just a
that's
dude.
Aaron. It could have been anybody. It could have been me playing Aaron Hernandez, and nobody would have been any the wiser.
For me, this is like this is Hollywood gets actors to play a character that they've seen videos of, and they get the characters right, like you said, or at least in like their mannerisms and the way they speak. They didn't hire anybody who had worked with the NFL or been to a football game or watched a football game or played high school sports. And the fact that he says, "Hey man, you met coach?"
You mean that guy that drafted me? You mean that?
Great comment, because that brings us to our next one, which is the Bill Belichick. This is Bill Belichick, who I actually think, so let's say the guy that plays Bill Belichick, the voice is not great, but the mannerisms are great. And then again, the draft room and the way that the draft room works, horrible, with a Robert Kraft jump scare at the end.
15 charters.
Minute and 21 to pick. Crazy to take a punter this early?
We're about to tight end from Florida.
Hernandez? You have him flagged for drug concerns.
And the Gainesville cops know him way too well.
Besides, we already drafted a tight end in Gronkowski.
So what? Fuck it. I'll use both of them. 2 tight ends, right? With fullback offset, strong side. No one's ever done that before. I've seen him play. He's the most talented kid in the draft, period.
Film don't lie. Kid can play.
And he's a kid for real. Just turned 20.
Well, maybe he just needs to grow up a little bit. Bob, what do you think?
Moss had a bad reputation. Brought him in. He went undefeated.
You know, it doesn't work everywhere, but I think we got the right culture for him. We take him here, we guarantee him $100,000. We cut him loose for nothing. Ton of upside, no risk. It's an absolute steal at 113.
Call it in.
Do it.
I'll take him.
All right, again, he gets the mannerisms down. Shout out to him for the mannerisms. I would say the voice is horrible. I don't know if he looks like. That's the hard part of casting something like this, is unless you can get somebody who actually looks like the guy, your attempt to make him look like the guy with hair and makeup and stuff makes him look more corny and less like the guy. It's like the Clippers show where they've got some like just straight up black dude playing Blake Griffin who very clearly just dyed his hair orange. And you're just like, that's not Blake Griffin at all. Like,
right. For all the wrestling fans, it's like when
nope, lost your sound. We got you. Loser. That's what. Oh, there you go. You're back.
Yeah, I'm trying to come back. What a loser. My headset died. What a weenie I am. For the WWE fans, like when Kevin Nash went to WCW and they brought out, this is Diesel. And this is like very obviously not Diesel. But I got to hear this again, just the beginning of it, because I think there's a little clip of it where he says, oh, we can't draft this guy. He's got tiny hands and 15-inch arms.
He has tiny hands, 15-inch arms.
50-inch. Okay, I was like 15-inch arms. That dude's like a T-Rex. Then I don't know what position he's playing. Maybe long snapper. He can just fling it back with his flippers. But I didn't know what that cat was going to play.
All right, next one we're moving on to real quick. This is a real Aaron Hernandez touchdown and touchdown celebration.
Again, they go with that power on formation. Brady will throw with time. Ball's in the air. Touchdown. Aaron Hernandez off the carom.
Well, he's a tight end, but he runs routes like...
Catches a touchdown, does a little shoulder bump with his teammate, stands up, quick hug, quick dap, no problem, heads back to the sideline. Here's how the show did it.
Touchdown! The youngest player in the league is a star in the making.
A gravedigger celebration. And by the way, let's watch this again. Is he not 5 yards out of bounds? He's beyond the goalpost when he comes down here.
I didn't even see that part. And it's funny that this is the clip you pulled, because I think this is the formation that Bill was talking about in the draft formation, where he said 2 tight ends and the fullback offset.
Again, they go with that power on formation. Brady will throw with time. Ball's in.
Hey, okay, not offset, but still close enough for me to make the
Shout out
connection.
to them for getting did get that detail right. And here we go. The most embarrassing one. I'll give you 2 clips back to back, because unfortunately, the number one thing, ask any sports fan on the planet, any athlete, anybody, whatever. What do you need in a sports TV show or movie? You need the sports to look real. You need the sports to look real. Some movies, like Moneyball, for example, do this pretty well. Some movies, or TV shows, like what is it? I don't think it was a Blue Mountain State thing, but it was a Friday Night Lights that has that.
You never saw the games.
Right.
It would be
Fantastic.
one person throwing. Yeah.
Fantastic. There's the one of, I think it's Friday Night Lights or whatever. They show the quarterback dropping back, throwing, and it's a meme because it is it's like he has never thrown a ball before in his life, which, by the way, for actors that can train themselves to do just about anything, you'd think they'd be able to train their body, or they could get a stunt double or something to not be so obviously bad at it.
Yeah.
There's 2 athletic things that happened here. Number one, Aaron Hernandez runs a 40 consistent, all the time. And what do we think this time is at here?
All right. Aaron's about to run again.
My back.
It's like
can you run more straight up and 4% speed? He's literally at he's not running
All right. Aaron's about to run again.
That's 7-second pace. I don't care.
the coaches are like 8:20. What? Where are we gonna put this guy?
That's why everybody was pissed in the draft room. They came back and said he ran an 8.25, and Belichick said, "Right, you ran the fullback, running two tight ends." Hey, film doesn't lie. Kid can play. And the film doesn't lie, because Aaron Hernandez, also exceptional, exquisite route runner.
Ready? Cut!
I have like eight notes.
Let's hear them. Unload on them. Unload.
Well, maybe the slowest release in the which again, How do we not find anybody that can like run a route and find anybody that played high school football and they run a route that's crisper than that? 2, he comes out of the route and he's running like he ran the 40. He's running at like half speed. The random jump cut then to the one-handed catch is absurd. The quarterback hits the Caleb Williams hip hip hooray celebration, two fists in the air, and they're just so no defender. Just like running routes against air on a practice field, throws it up, and like we're doing the airplane run around. Yo, touchdown! We're so good at football. What the heck is this?
That's what I'm saying. Like you would think that this would be a scene that they would do, like maybe when these guys were kids, like and then do the transition. Oh, and then you can use a jump cut to like now.
2 10-year-olds, he catches the ball, and then they're like, "Oh, touchdown!" Woo! And they win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, what's
no, this is like an NFL player apparently does this in his free time.
The only thing it was lacking was like the long shot of like, the football in the air, like,
end over end spiraling football.
Yeah, like what is that?
I mean, I had to share this with people because I have not seen the show, but American Sports Story just blowing my mind because some of Maserati Max says, thanks. I have no need to watch this show, not wasting my time. I've seen some people online say that this is why they're watching the show. So maybe this was intentional from FX because this is horrific in every way, but in a way that like it's almost like a car crash, right? You can't look away. It's so good because it's so bad.
It's similar to Dancing with the Stars and The Voice. I will learn to love this show as well. If I have to watch it long enough, I've got my girlfriend. I got to sit down and watch Dancing with the Stars. I got to watch The Voice. Got to watch all this other crap. If I can watch that, I can watch this.
Well, the other thing too, I'm pretty sure, not to spoil it, and maybe I'm speaking way out of line here, but I'm pretty sure from what I saw on the internet, the entire show is under like the conspiracy theory that Aaron Hernandez is gay. Is like the entire show. I'm not making a joke. Literally,
well, I'm definitely gonna watch now.
Let me just like verify it. American Sports Story. Let me just like look.
Reckless speculation from Sam. We love it.
Yeah, it overemphasizes. It says, however, he controversially suggests in the show that the sexual abuse Hernandez suffered as a child caused him to be gay.
Oh, shit.
And that's like a storyline of the show. And we're also tracking this guy who's a murderer. And this is how we're like depicting it.
Yeah, this article from Vanity Fair. American Sports Story is predicated on the evidence that Hernandez was at least bisexual, but heavily suggests that he was mostly attracted to men. I'm telling you one thing. If I die, do not let them lie on me in a TV show. You better, if they gonna lie, you better have me posted up in the back of a limo with some baddies. Do not let them lie on me like this. That's all I'm saying.
Oh man, this is man. It really is just like I saw comments when I first showed the first video where people were like, this can't be real. Every time I've seen a thing about this show, I'm like, that can't be real. That can't really be the premise of the show. While they're also showing Gronk being like, oh, dude, you met Coach? I'm Rob. And like that guy running. I mean, it just is. It's something else, man.
I'm going to watch it. As soon as we end the show, I'm going to watch it.
You might have to report back because I for one will not be watching it, but I had to at least share the highlights with everybody.
Good pull. Good pull.
All right. That's all we got. Nice one tonight. Thank you, Bert, for hanging out. Thank you to all of you for tuning in. Great show. We're going to get through it. All right. We're going to get through it together. We're going to get through this season. We're going to keep reminding ourselves of those reasons to watch that we talked about earlier. And we're going to laugh it away through Aaron Hernandez or some other cause. We will come out on the other side. Till next time. We'll see you later.